Undercover CEO overhears waitress crying. What he does next will leave you in tears. Have you ever been so overwhelmed by kindness that it stopped you in your tracks? Imagine walking into a small, bustling diner on a rainy evening and hearing the quiet sobs of someone you barely know. What would you do? Would you stop and listen? Would you help? This is the story of Emma, a waitress whose world was quietly unraveling beneath the cheerful smiles she served every day, and the stranger who walked in that night, a man about to change everything, not because of his wealth or power, but because of his heart. Emma wiped her eyes hurriedly as she set down a plate in front of a young couple laughing over their shared fries. The chatter, clinking dishes, and aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the small diner, but Emma felt a weight pressing down on her chest, invisible to everyone else. Tonight was harder than usual. Her mind swirled with worry, bills unpaid, her little boy's cough worsening, and the gnawing fear of what tomorrow might bring. She stole a glance at the back corner of the diner where an older man sat alone, his coat soaked from the rain. His eyes caught hers briefly, but Emma quickly looked away, afraid her tears would give her away. She couldn't afford to break down. Not here. Not now. The man, James, was no ordinary customer. Beneath his simple, worn jacket and quiet demeanor was a man who had built a business empire, but had long since learned that true wealth was measured in moments of human connection. Tonight he wasn't here as a CEO. He was here undercover, hoping to understand the real struggles of everyday people like Emma. As the minutes passed, Emma's shoulders shook slightly as she tried to hold back the flood of emotions. James noticed. The laughter and noise around them faded in his ears. All he could see was her struggle, hidden beneath the tired eyes and forced smile. At the moment Emma slipped into the kitchen, wiping her cheeks, James quietly followed. The clatter of dishes and hum of the refrigerator surrounded them as he gently asked, "Are you all right?" Startled, Emma blinked, her voice catching in her throat. "I'm fine. Just a little tired." James didn't press. Instead, he smiled softly and said, "Sometimes it's okay to let others in." That small sentence cracked something open. Emma found herself spilling her fears, the mounting debt, the fear of losing her home, the anxiety about her son's health. She spoke not because she expected charity, but because the simple act of being heard was a balm she didn't know she needed. James listened, truly listened, and when she finished, he didn't offer empty promises. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. "This isn't a handout. Think of it as a chance to breathe, to get back on your feet." Emma's eyes widened, overwhelmed. I don't know what to say." "Say you'll let kindness find its way back to you," James replied gently. Over the next few weeks, Emma's world shifted. With the help she received, she took her son to the doctor, who prescribed medication that finally eased his cough. She managed to pay off past due bills and even started putting a little aside for the future. But the kindness didn't stop there. Emma decided to pay it forward. One chilly evening, she noticed a homeless man sitting outside the diner, shivering in the cold. Without hesitation, she brought him a warm meal and sat with him for a while, sharing stories and laughter. That small act sparked a ripple. Others in the community began noticing, lending a hand, and slowly the neighborhood grew warmer, not just in temperature, but in spirit. Months later, James returned, not as a stranger, but as a friend. At a community event, he stood beside Emma, watching her speak about hope, resilience, and the power of simple kindness. He saw a woman transformed, not by money, but by connection. Can you imagine how that felt? To see your kindness come full circle, inspiring others to care. This story reminds us all that sometimes the most powerful changes come not from grand gestures, but from quiet moments of empathy and generosity. Emma's journey from tears in the kitchen to hope in her heart shows that kindness is a language everyone understands, and it costs nothing to speak it. So today I challenge you, what small act of kindness can you do right now? Maybe it's a smile to a stranger, a helping hand, or simply listening to someone who needs it. Share your story in the comments below, because your kindness might just be the spark someone else needs. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little hope today. And stay tuned, because the next story we have will remind you that sometimes hope comes from the most unexpected places. Thank you for watching, and remember, kindness changes everything.